Part 1, Chapter 1, Reverie, 18 years old. The afternoon sun was warm enough to make my books feel hot against my chest as I hurried down the sidewalk toward home. Newport Beach smelled like salt water and sun-soaked pavement, the kind of smell that made you want to breathe deeper, like it could fix everything that ever felt wrong. Maybe that's why I'd stayed in the library too long. Newport Beach and the late summer weather always made me crave stories. Something about the warm air and the sparkling ocean made everything feel a little more possible, a little more romantic. And so, of course, I'd gone in promising myself I'd buy only 2 books. I'd promised myself I'd be quick because Freya Larson had texted me at least 4 times asking, "Where are you?" and "I'm bored, come rescue me." But the moment I stepped inside the library, time folded in on itself like it always did. 1 shelf turned into 3, 3 into 10, and suddenly my tote bag was stuffed and lopsided with 7 new books that I absolutely, definitely needed. That's what I told myself anyway. When I reached my house, I found Freya Larson standing outside the front steps with her arms crossed and her foot tapping, like she was conducting a hostile orchestra. "There you are," she exclaimed the moment she saw me. "Do you know how long I've been waiting? I swear I aged 3 years. I couldn't help laughing as I climbed the steps toward her. "I'm sorry, I got distracted." "Uh-huh. Do you even understand the concept of time, woman?" She narrowed her eyes. "You had a mission, a goal, and then, wait, let me guess, some hardcovers saw you and whispered, 'Pick me, Mommy.'" My cheeks heated. "Don't call me that." Freya yanked the tote right out of my arms, picking inside, and her eyes widened. "Reverie. Reverie Keller. You went for 2? You came back with 7. 6, I mumbled, tucking my hair behind my ear. The 7th one was already in my bag. Freya gasped dramatically. "Oh, so much better. Completely innocent. My mistake." I nudged her. Shut up. Let's just go inside. I want to show you the one I've been waiting months to find." Her face softened immediately. It always did when we talked about our little tradition. Since we were kids, every time we bought something new or learned something interesting or wrote something we were proud of, we shared it with each other. The best friend ritual of all rituals. We walked in together, and the moment we reached my bedroom, Freya flopped onto my bed like she owned the place, which, honestly, she practically did. Freya had moved to Newport Beach with her mother and older brother when we were 2 years old. Her father wasn't an ideal person. She was so young that she didn't really know anything. All she knew was that her father wasn't good to her mother and brother. So her mother left him and came to Newport Beach. And when they came here and lived in the house next door, our mothers became friends first, and we found each other. Freya is the sunshine and chaos. I am quiet and soft, and together we balanced each other. "So," I said, dropping my books onto the bed beside her, "this one," I picked up the thick fantasy novel I'd been hunting for, "is one I've wanted for months. And when I saw it on the shelf, I felt, I don't even know, like I was floating." Freya grinned. "Your Cloud9 face is my favorite thing." I rolled my eyes, but my heart warmed up anyway. "What about you? How was writing club today?" She propped herself on her elbows. "Good. Great, actually. Except Lila and Emma started fighting again, like full-on drama. I'm telling you, those 2 were boring to star in reality TV." I snorted. "What was it about this time?" "No idea. Something stupid. They're always fighting. Lila threw her notebook at Emma." Freya continued. "Emma threw her scrunchie. I threw my water bottle. Not at them, I just got startled." As she talked, I drifted toward my window seat with my new book in hand, settling into my favorite corner. The cushion was warm from the sun, and everything felt calm, easy, until the crunch of gravel outside caught my attention. I glanced out the window and froze. Benedict's car was pulling into the driveway. "Ben's back," I said, surprised. "He didn't tell us he was coming." Freya perked up instantly. "Wait, he's supposed to be in LA today, right? At his studio?" "Yeah." My heart sped up a little, not from worry, just from surprise. My brother never came home without warning, and my parents were out for the afternoon. Which meant Freya had the same thought at the same time. Prank? she whispered, eyes gleaming. I grinned. Prank. She scrambled off the bed and we hurried toward the hallway, whispering ideas like we were planning a top-secret mission. We settled on something simple but effective and moved fast. Freya crouched beside me behind the kitchen island, her eyes gleaming like she'd just been handed a grenade and told, "Don't pull the pin." "Okay," she whispered, barely containing her excitement. "The soap is ready. You scream first. I'll follow." "Got it," I whispered back, even though my heart was already thudding with laughter I was trying so hard to swallow. The front door opened.
"Ree, are you home?"
Benedict's voice rang through the house. Freya mouthed, "Now." I inhaled dramatically, and a loud bang exploded from the baking tray Freya had slammed on the counter. We both unleashed our most horrifying, Oscar-worthy screams.
"Ree?"
Benedict shouted, sprinting toward the kitchen like he was about to fight off an intruder. He didn't even make it 3 steps inside before it happened. His foot hit the soapy floor, his legs went completely rogue, and my 22-year-old brother slid across the tiles like a newborn deer on ice. I clapped a hand over my mouth as he crashed into the lower cabinets with a dull thud. Freya looked like she was seconds away from passing out from silent laughter. I popped up from behind the island, doubling over. My stomach hurt from how hard I was laughing. Freya was wheezing beside me. Benedict, still sprawled on the floor, glared at us like we were the reason gravity existed.
"I hate both of you,"
he said flatly. I wiped actual tears from my eyes. "You're so dramatic."
"You screamed bloody murder."
"We were acting," Freya said proudly. I gave him my sweetest, most innocent smile. "We love you." He sighed, then burst out laughing too. "Why are you back?" I asked once the laughter calmed down. "You didn't say anything," he shrugged.
"I just wanted to come home for the weekend. Needed a break. Studio's been driving me insane."
My chest softened. I knew how much pressure he'd been under lately. But before I could say anything else, my phone buzzed. Kevin. I sighed without meaning to, and Freya immediately eyed me because she always caught the things I didn't say out loud. "I have to go," I murmured. "Kevin's outside. He's picking me up." Benedict raised a brow but nodded. Freya's expression turned curious, then concerned, but she didn't push, not yet. I grabbed my bag, tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, and headed for the door.
"Have fun, but not too much fun,"
Benedict called after me. Freya added, "Text me if he acts weird." I waved them off and stepped outside, the sun warming my skin as I walked toward Kevin's car. But even as I reached the driveway, even as I forced a smile, my mind wasn't on Kevin. It lingered on the house behind me, on the warmth I always felt there, and on the comfort, the laughter, the softness. I didn't know it then, of course I didn't, but that afternoon was the beginning of everything, the beginning of something I wasn't ready for. Something that would unravel my whole life. Chapter 2. Reverie. Kevin had one hand lazily draped over the steering wheel, the other tapping an impatient rhythm against his thigh. The faint hum of the engine filled the silence between us, the kind of silence that used to feel comfortable, but lately felt like a shrinking room. His blonde hair was falling into his eyes again, the way it always did when he didn't bother styling it. Girls at school still swooned over him, tall, athletic, sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes that always looked like he was thinking about something more interesting than the person in front of him. In the beginning, those eyes used to make me feel seen. Now they just made me feel small.
"You're quiet,"
Kevin said finally, glancing at me. His tone wasn't concerned, more like he was annoyed that I wasn't performing the role of the fun girlfriend. "Just tired," I murmured, watching the trees blur past our window. He snorted.
"You're always tired lately."
I didn't respond because I didn't have the energy to. A few seconds passed before he asked,
"So, I saw Ben's car in the driveway. Is he home?"
His voice had that edge, the one I'd learned to recognize. It wasn't casual curiosity, it was calculation. "Yeah," I said softly. "He came back for the weekend." Kevin let out an exaggerated sigh.
"Great."
I turned to him. "What's that supposed to mean?"
Well,
he said, jaw tightening.
it means you'll run straight home like a scared little kid if he's around. You know, it wouldn't kill you to stay out late with me for once.
I tightened my fingers in my lap. Kevin, you know he just worries.
About what?
Kevin cut in.
About me? You think I'm some creep who's gonna jump at you the moment we're alone?
His bitterness stung me. He always turned it around like this. That's not what I said, I whispered. It's just, he shows up if I'm late, and I don't want him arguing with you again. Kevin scoffed.
Right, because Big Brother Ben thinks he owns you or something.
I turned back to the window. Can we not do this right now? But Kevin never stopped when I asked him to.
Look, Ree, I'm your boyfriend, remember? You can't keep running off like you're still 12. Stay with me tonight, just tonight.
There it was, the real reason behind all this. I can't, I said, softly but firmly. He's home. You know how he is. Kevin's fingers tightened around the steering wheel.
Unbelievable.
I inhaled slowly, steadying myself. Why does it bother you so much?
Because,
He burst out.
you never choose me. It's like I'm your second option. You can't even spend one night without babying everyone else's feelings.
My chest twisted. It wasn't like that. It had never been like that. But Kevin didn't give me a chance to explain.
You know what?
He muttered.
Just forget it. Just forget I asked.
His voice was sharp enough to make me flinch a little, something he didn't notice or maybe didn't care to. I pretended to look out the window, but relief quietly slid through me. It wasn't fair, relying on my brother to protect me from my own boyfriend, but it was the truth. If Kevin pushed too far, Ben would show up and drag him off me like he had before. We drove toward the cafe where his friends always hung out, the group where I never fit, the place where I always ended up alone at the end of the booth, with Emma, with her dark eyeliner and perpetually perfect hair, trying way too hard to get Kevin's attention, and he let her. I spent the next few hours listening to Kevin laugh with his friends, nodding when he glanced at me and shrinking quietly whenever Emma threw another pointed look my way. Kevin pulled up in front of my house, slowing to a stop with that impatient little taps of his fingers against the steering wheel, the kind that always made me feel like he'd rather be anywhere else. I unbuckled quickly because I needed air, space, and something that wasn't the suffocating silence inside that car. "Thanks for the ride," I murmured, already opening the door. I stepped out, the evening breeze washing over me like relief, cool, gentle, real. But before I had even taken 2 steps toward my house, I heard Kevin's door slam behind me, loud, sharp, irritated. I closed my eyes for a second. Of course. He rounded the front of the car, and I turned toward him, my back towards my house, as he stopped right in front of me, jaw tight. To anyone else, he probably looked like the golden boy. Blonde hair, blue eyes, that clean-cut face everyone at school drooled over. But right now, all I saw was the tension bristling under his skin.
Why are you walking away so fast?
He demanded. I wasn't, I said softly, not wanting to start something on the street. I just thought we were done talking.
Well, we're not.
His tone made something cold curl inside my stomach. I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. Okay, what is it? He stepped closer, like he wanted the space between us gone.
My best friend is throwing a huge party tomorrow night. Last month of school, everyone's going to be there, and I want you to come with me.
There was a challenge in his voice, like he already expected me to say no. Oh, I said, nodding slowly. Yeah, maybe. I just need to see if...
Kevin scoffed. If Ben says it's fine?
I flinched. Not because he was wrong, but because he said it like an accusation. He's only home for the weekend, I tried to explain. We usually have dinner and...
Oh my God, Ree.
Kevin interrupted, lifting his hands in frustration.
You treat Benedict like he's your warden.
That's not true.
Really? Because I feel like I have to fight him for your time every single time.
My throat tightened. I didn't know spending time with my family was a crime.
That's not what I said.
He snapped. It actually kind of was. I started to look away, anywhere but at him, and that's when I saw it. A car parked in front of Freya's house. not just any car. Ivan's. My breath hitched without warning. It always did. My body had somehow learned his presence long before my brain caught up. Everything inside me paused, and that was all it took for Kevin to notice, because he followed my gaze. He stiffened immediately.
You've got to be kidding me.
I shook my head quickly. Kevin, I wasn't...
Don't.
He warned, stepping even closer. His voice dropped.
Don't lie to me.
I wasn't... He grabbed my wrist, not gently. My breath caught. Kevin...
You think I didn't see your face?
His grip tightened, fingers digging into my skin.
You think I didn't notice how you lit up the second you saw his stupid car?
I didn't... You're hurting me.
Good. Maybe you'll listen.
My heart pounded in my chest, too loud, too fast. Panic slid down my spine like ice. Kevin, please, just let go. He didn't. Instead, he leaned down, his face inches from mine, anger burning cold in his eyes.
If you ever look at someone else like that, if you even think about cheating on me,
his fingers tightened one last time.
You'll regret it.
Then he kissed me brutally, forcefully, and nothing like how kisses were supposed to feel. I pushed him back instantly, stumbling a step away, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand before I even realized I was doing it. Kevin straightened, annoyed, like I had ruined his moment.
Don't forget the party,
he said flatly.
You're coming with me.
I didn't answer. I just turned toward my house and froze. Ivan was standing at his front door, hand on the frame, jaw clenched, eyes burning in the fading light, watching us, watching me. And on the patio swing, Freya sat forward, face tight with concern, like she was ready to run over if I so much as swayed. Shame flooded my chest, hot and suffocating. I bolted inside before either of them could say anything, racing up the stairs and into my room. I shut the door behind me and leaned against it, breath trembling, wrist throbbing where Kevin had held me. And for some reason, all I could think about was the way Ivan had looked at me, like he'd been 2 seconds from crossing the street, and like he cared for me.
Chapter 3. Ivan, 23 years old. I got home just as the sky dipped into that dull orange shade that always made this street look quieter than it was. I killed the engine and exhaled slowly, letting the silence settle. My body felt like someone had wrung it out like a fucking wet towel. Long shifts in a high-end LA kitchen did that. Too much heat, too much noise, too many people asking for too much. I stepped inside, dragging a hand through my hair, already imagining a long shower and something real to eat. Something that didn't come with the restaurant's impossible standards attached to it. As I moved towards the stairs, I found a pair of legs crossed neatly on our couch in the living room, and a curtain of familiar blonde hair spilling over the cushions. Freya.
There you are.
She grinned.
I was hoping you'd come home, then got here hours ago.
I nodded. Yeah, we planned it. Needed a weekend away from everything. I glanced at her. How'd you know he was back?
I was with Ree when he arrived.
She said.
And we scared the absolute shit out of him.
I raised a brow. What did you guys do now? She launched into the story at high speed. Soap on the floor, fake screams, Benedict sliding across the kitchen like gravity personally offended him. I should have been listening to the story itself, but my brain caught on one thing. Reverie. I hated what her name did to me. It softened me, shook me, and lit something up inside me I had no business feeling. Every time her name was mentioned or she was in the same room, something in me shifted, a quiet awareness settling under my ribs like an old, familiar bruise. Disappointing, because I should have outgrown this by now. Relieving, because part of me never wanted to. Confusing, as always. I forced the reaction down, keeping my expression bored, because the last thing I needed was Freya paying attention. When she finally finished, I snorted. He's an idiot, deserved it. She giggled, proud of herself. I shook my head, fighting the small smile pulling at my mouth. All right, I'm going to clean up, I said, and then make something before I collapse. She groaned.
Of course you are. You can't go 5 minutes without cooking.
It's called having a purpose. She rolled her eyes. I don't cook for myself at work. Which was true. At work, I cooked for critics, customers, and managers who breathed down my neck. At home, I could breathe. I showered until my muscles loosened, then went downstairs. The kitchen was quiet. Good. I pulled out ingredients without thinking, letting instinct guide me. Risotto, shrimp, chicken. Something simple, something grounding.
Halfway through sautéing the arborio, the front door clicked open.
Honey.
My mother's voice called. I turned and she appeared in the doorway, still in her salon uniform, hair pinned back. She smiled when she saw me, and something in me, some hard thing, unclenched just a fraction.
You should be resting.
She scolded gently, walking in to kiss my cheek.
You are always in the kitchen.
I'm fine, I said, and this time I didn't hide the softness. I like doing this. Mom sighed like she'd never understood it but accepted it anyway. Then she disappeared to change, and by the time she returned, the food was nearly ready. I'll call Freya, I said, wiping my hands on a towel. Mom nodded, plating the chicken with practiced strokes. I stepped out onto the front patio, ready to tell Freya dinner was done, and froze. Freya was on the swing, but that wasn't what caught me. It was the scene across the driveway. Reverie. And Kevin. His hand locked around her wrist. My stomach dropped, then tightened into something hard and sharp. My breath left me in one slow, furious exhale. Of all people to run into tonight, of all people to have her hands on her. I had spent 2 years pretending I didn't care that she had a boyfriend. A pathetic lie, but a necessary one. It took all my self-control not to react when Ben had first told me that they were dating, and even more not to punch a wall every time I heard the idiot's name. But now, watching Kevin lean toward her with that tight, irritated look, watching the way her body went tense under his grip, a cold, electric jolt shot through me, knocking the air out of my lungs. My father's hand had looked like that once, knuckles white, fingers digging into my mother's arm, voice a harsh whisper of threats that used to turn my blood to ice. I stepped forward, ready to intervene. I didn't care how it would look. I didn't care if it exposed everything I'd been burying for years. But then Kevin pulled her closer, and my stomach dropped. He kissed her. Hard. Not affectionate, not gentle. A claim. I went still. Completely still. Except for my jaw, which clenched so tight it ached, and my fists curling helplessly at my sides. My pulse hammered against my ribs like it wanted out. Pain, real, physical, twisted beneath my ribs. I'd imagined her kissing someone else before, prepared myself for it, and forced myself to accept it. But seeing it when she looked so tense, so unlike herself, it messed with me. She wasn't kissing him back, wasn't leaning in. She just stood rigid, like her body had shut down. Again, I found myself needing to go over there and peel his hands off her and do something I could never take back. Then she pushed him away and backed up like she wanted to get far away from him, and then she turned toward her house. Our eyes locked only for a few seconds, but I saw everything. The hurt, the embarrassment, the fear she didn't want anyone to notice, a silent plea for no one to ask questions, and a storm she was trying desperately to hide. My heart clenched so tight it almost stopped. I wanted to go to her, ask her if she was okay, if he'd done something, if he'd hurt her, and ask her if I needed to kill him. But I couldn't, not without showing everything I'd spent years hiding. So I pulled my expression back under control, smooth, blank, cold, and tore my gaze away before I did something irreversible. "Dinner's ready," I said to Freya, my voice low, steady. She didn't even look at me. Her eyes were glued to Ree.
She's not okay,
she whispered, and before I could respond, she bolted off the swing and ran across the driveway toward her. For once, I felt relief. If I couldn't go to Ree, Freya could, and Freya would never let anything happen to her. I stayed where I was, jaw clenched, staring at the empty space where Reverie had been just seconds before. After a few moments, I forced myself back inside, forced my breathing even, forced my hands to stop shaking, but my mind stayed outside with her, with the fear in her eyes, Kevin's grip on her wrist, and every instinct in me screaming to protect her. God, what was wrong with me? Why did it hurt like that? Why did she still affect me like this? I didn't have answers, only the ache, and the certainty that tonight and every night I would hate Kevin a little more, and myself too.
Chapter 4. Reverie. I woke up feeling like I hadn't slept at all. My eyes were swollen, my throat sore, and my chest still ached with that horrible mixture of confusion and sadness I'd carried into sleep. The night replayed in fragments. The driveway, Kevin's grip, his kiss, the way his voice had dropped into something close to a threat. And then Freya's arms around me and me finally breaking and crying. Everything inside me had cracked open the moment she stepped into my room last night, worry etched across her face. I didn't even try to hold back the tears. They came too quickly, too heavily. I cried for the way Kevin held me, spoke to me, and because I didn't understand what our relationship had turned into. And I cried because I felt so alone. Last night, when I sat on the floor beside my bed, hugging my knees, I told Freya everything. Everything I had tried to keep down for months. "He keeps criticizing me," I had whispered. "Everything I eat, everything I do. And I feel like he's not even someone I'm dating anymore. I don't feel anything when he kisses me. I don't even recognize us." The look on Freya's face made my chest tighten, fierce, protective, angry for me in a way no one had been in a long time. I admitted what I'd been too afraid to say out loud. I want to break up with him, but losing him scares me too. 2 years, Freya. 2 years is not small. She squeezed my hands and told me that my feelings mattered, that confusion didn't mean I had to stay trapped, that she was with me no matter what I chose. We ended up eating dinner on my bedroom floor, talking until exhaustion found us both. And sometime between midnight and dawn, I fell asleep beside my best friend. When I finished showering and stepped back into my room, Freya was sitting on my bed, swinging her legs, waiting for me. Her voice was soft. "Feeling any better?" I dried my hair with a towel and nodded. "A little, still tired, but better." She let out a breath of relief. "Good. 'Cause I'm going home to change and then I'm coming back. We're going somewhere today. No moping around just because it's the weekend." I almost smiled, but then Kevin's message from yesterday crept back into my mind. "The party," I murmured. "He invited me." Freya paused. "Do you want to go?" I shook my head instantly. "No, not at all." "Good," she said, and before I could even react, she snatched my phone from the nightstand. "What are you doing?" I reached for it, startled. She ignored me and tapped prickly. "Freya, blocking his number," she said flatly. "You don't owe him a single conversation today. And if he shows up here, Ben and Ivan will handle him." My heart jumped at that last name. Ivan. "No," I said quickly. "I don't want them involved. I don't want drama with Kevin. He'll get upset." Freya's voice sharpened. "Stop thinking about his mood. Think about yours. You matter too, and he's been a dick and you know it." I swallowed hard, because she was right. Reluctantly, I nodded. "Okay, fine." Freya's expression softened instantly. She stood, wrapped her arms around me, and hugged me tightly, the kind of hug that tells you you're not alone when your world feels unsteady. "I'll be back in a few hours," she said against my hair. "And tonight, no Kevin, just you and me, our own little party." That finally made me smile. After she left, the room felt quiet again. Too quiet. Hours later, golden evening light spilled into my bedroom, warm and soft. I curled into the window seat, knees tucked under my chin, staring absent-mindedly at the street. Then movement caught my eye. Freya walked out of her house, dressed up, practically glowing. She bounced down the steps like excitement lived in her bones, and I couldn't help but laugh softly at the sight. Then the front door of her house opened again, and Ivan stepped out. Everything inside me halted. He was dressed up. Not too much, casual enough to look effortless, but polished enough to make my pulse stutter. His dark hair looked freshly washed, the ends brushing the sides of his forehead. Silky, soft-looking, the kind of hair my fingers had always ached to touch. His face, God, angular, sharper than when we were younger, all carved lines and quiet intensity. His hazel eyes caught the dying light, turning warm, almost golden. He'd grown broader, too, taller, stronger, the kind of body that shifted so naturally it was hard not to stare. And I stared, longer than I should have, longer than I would ever admit. My chest tightened painfully, because my feelings had never faded the way I hoped they would. They had only buried themselves deeper, more stubborn, more dangerous. I wondered, briefly, the same thing I'd wondered for years. What would have happened if I had confessed, if I had taken one reckless step toward him? And, as always, the consequences rushed in immediately. Ben would be furious. I might hurt Freya's feelings. Ivan would look at me the same way he always did. Kind, distant, neutral, which will make me pathetic. He never cared about me, not the way I had wanted. I'm more like a sister to him, like someone safe, never someone desirable. The ache of that realization had lived in me since I can remember, since every time his presence changed the air around me. It only grew stronger as he grew into the man he was now, a man who made forgetting him impossible. Kevin had been my attempt to move on, bury what Ivan made me feel, and build a life not tied to a hopeless crush. But nothing went how I expected. Ivan moved toward his car, pulled out of the driveway, and disappeared down the street. For a fleeting, foolish second, I wondered where he was going, who he was meeting, if she was pretty, if she made him laugh. The thought stung more than it should have. Then my bedroom door opened behind me.
Come on,
Freya said, stepping inside again.
get dressed. We're going out.
I don't really feel like...
Nope.
She cut me off.
No excuses. You're getting out of this house no matter what, even if I have to drag you.
Before I could argue, she was already standing in my walk-in closet, digging through clothes. Within seconds, she held out a silver crop top and black pants.
Wear these. You'll look hot, and feeling hot helps everything.
I rolled my eyes, but a small laugh escaped me. Fine, maybe I needed this. Maybe I needed a night that wasn't about Kevin or crying or the confusion twisting me apart. I got dressed slowly, applied a little makeup, brushed my hair, and met Freya at the front door.
Ready?
She asked. I took a breath. Yeah, I said quietly. Ready. We stepped out into the night and headed toward one of the night restaurants. Just the two of us, no drama, no Kevin. And even though a small, stubborn part of my heart still hurt from everything, including Ivan, I let the night take me anyway. Tonight, at least, I could breathe. Chapter 5. Reverie. The drive to the restaurant is short, just 10 minutes of soft music, Freya humming under her breath, and me trying to settle the strange heaviness sitting in my chest since morning. I tell myself I'm okay. I keep telling myself that. Like if I repeat it enough times, it might actually become true. Inside, the restaurant is warm and low-lit, a gentle buzz of conversation floating around us. Freya chooses a corner table tucked near a window, and I'm grateful for it. Somewhere quiet, somewhere I can pretend the world outside doesn't exist for a little while. We talk about harmless things at first. Classes, Ben's ridiculous obsession with protein bars, Ivan scolding Freya for losing his hoodie, normal things, things that make me smile. Our food arrives and we eat, and for a moment I'm convinced that maybe tonight will be peaceful. Maybe this is what healing feels like, soft, slow, and uncomplicated. Then both our phones vibrate at the same time. Freya already has hers in her hand, unlocking it with a lazy swipe. I fish mine from my pocket and see the notifications. Instagram Live from a few of our classmates. I put my phone back immediately. I don't even want to breathe in the same digital space as him. Freya snorts.
These idiots must be doing some next-level stupidity.
I shrug. I don't want to watch.
Well, I do, for research purposes.
She wiggles her eyebrows dramatically and taps on one of the lives. At first, it's just noise. Music thumping, lights flashing, people dancing like their lives depend on that one night. Freya leans a little closer to her screen, and then she stops moving. Her expression freezes. Her brows draw together slowly, like she's trying to process something she wishes she didn't see. A chill runs through me. What's wrong? She doesn't answer. She just keeps staring. Freya? I nudge her leg under the table. She finally looks at me, and her eyes are full of sadness, anger, and maybe pity. My stomach turns to stone. Give me the phone, I whisper. She hesitates, but I'm already reaching. She sighs quietly and hands it over. And then I see it. Kevin. His hands on Emma's waist and kissing her like she's the only air he needs. My heart drops, like someone cut the rope holding it up. For a second, I feel nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just a hollow space expanding in my chest. And then the hurt trickles in. Slow at first, then sharp. My chest aches, my throat tightens, and my head starts pounding. Freya snatches her phone back gently. Maybe it's someone else, she rushes to say. The lighting is bad, the angle. But we both know she's lying to make me breathe. I look down at my hands. They're trembling. I tell myself I shouldn't care this much. I didn't love him, not the way love is supposed to feel, but I did like him and wanted it to be more. And being cheated on, it feels like a verdict. Like I'm the flaw. I'm invisible, unwanted, and never enough. Suddenly, Freya is up.
We're going.
I blink. What?
We're going to that dumbass party,
She says, fuming.
I'm not letting him get away with this.
I'm numb as I stand, numb as I follow her outside, numb as she drives. The world feels muted, like I'm underwater and everything around me is muffled and slow and distant. Halfway through the ride, Freya glances at me, softer this time.
Hey, are you sure you want to go? I dragged you without thinking.
I swallow. Is it even a good idea?
Yes,
She says instantly.
he didn't break up with you, and yesterday he was threatening you, while he's doing the exact same thing today.
I look out the window, feeling something flicker. Anger, maybe, or humiliation, or both. Then I'll talk to him, I whisper, and end it. The closer we get, the tighter my chest feels. Kevin's friend's house is already lit up, voices spilling out into the night, music shaking the pavement. When we walk inside, heads turn. People stare. Some whisper, some smirk. I feel stupid, small, embarrassed, like I walked straight into a trap everyone else already knew about. We push through groups of classmates until Freya suddenly stops and points. Kevin is standing with Emma and a bunch of guys near the corner of the pool area. He looks perfectly relaxed, laughing, holding a drink, like he didn't burn my entire night down. When he sees us approaching, he smirks. That smirk breaks something inside me. My anger rises so fast I almost choke on it. How dare you, I say, voice trembling with hurt and rage. How dare you make out with Emma when you have a girlfriend? Emma scoffs, rolling her eyes. Kevin steps forward, lips curled.
Girlfriend?
He repeats mockingly.
You were just a side chick, Ree. Don't be dramatic.
I freeze. Side chick. The words don't compute. Then he laughs.
You always ignored me. Ignored my needs. What was I supposed to do? You think you're so perfect?
He looks me up and down with disgusting disdain.
You're not even that attractive. And honestly, you've gotten kind of fat.
The humiliation scorches through me, hot and burning and dizzying. I manage to whisper. Then why did you say those things to me yesterday? Outside my house. He steps closer. Too close. He leans in. His breath is filled with alcohol near my ear.
Because you're a slut for wanting Ivan while you're with me.
He whispers, so low only I hear it.
I just wanted to remind you who your boyfriend was.
My blood turns to ice.
And if you tell your brother anything,
He continues, voice almost cheerful.
I'll leak our pictures, all of them, to the whole school. Let's see how he saves you then.
Fear slams into my chest so hard I wobble. My voice cracks. You were making out with Emma. Kevin straightens up and laughs loudly, making sure everyone hears.
I decided you weren't worth the effort anymore.
But he never put an effort into anything. All he did was control me, manipulate me, belittle me, make me feel small. Before I can speak again, Freya steps forward like a shield and unleashes pure, furious venom at him. calling him every name he deserves. Then she grabs my wrist and pulls me away. I don't remember leaving the house. I don't remember the car ride back to home. Everything blurs together like smeared paint. When we walk into my house, the living room is full. Ben, my parents, Ivan's mother, they all look up at me at the same time, and their faces shift instantly. Concern, confusion, worry. I can't face any of it, so I don't stop. I just head straight for my bedroom with Freya behind me. The moment the door closes, the dam breaks. I collapse onto the floor and the sobs pour out, loud, raw, unstoppable. My whole body shakes. My chest feels like it's caving in. Freya drops beside me and wraps her arms around me. "It's okay, baby. You're okay," she murmurs, stroking my hair. "He wasn't good enough for you. None of this is your fault." But fear is crawling up my throat. Fear of Kevin. Fear of what he might do. Fear of those pictures. Fear of being trapped in silence. I cry harder, so hard my ribs hurt. Freya stiffens beside me. "Ree, what is it? What aren't you telling me? You're too tense. Tell me." And I break again. He threatened me," I sob. "He said he'll leak our pictures. To everyone. If I tell Ben anything." Freya freezes, horrified. "What?" "Ree, no, you can't keep this. You have to tell Ben. Or Ivan, at least." "No." I clutch her tighter, panicked. "I can't. Promise me, Freya. Promise me you won't tell anyone, please." She hesitates for a long moment, too long, but in the end she nods, tears in her own eyes. "Okay," she whispers. "Okay. I won't tell. We'll figure this out, I promise." I curl into her, shaking, terrified, and heartbroken. Everything hurts, and for the first time in a very long time, I feel completely, utterly lost.